The diplomatic incident. The starship Odyssey drifted silently through the inky void of space, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The ship's sensors had picked up an anomaly, a structure of clearly artificial origin floating in the depths of uncharted space. "What do you make of it, Dr. Patel?" Sarah asked, turning to the ship's cynoanthropologist. Arjun Patel stroked his salt and pepper beard, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It's unlike anything we've ever encountered, Captain. The design suggests an intelligence far beyond our own. We could be looking at the first concrete evidence of an advanced alien civilization." Sarah nodded, a mixture of excitement and apprehension coursing through her veins. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, and now, as captain of Earth's most advanced exploration vessel, she stood on the precipice of history. "All right, people," she addressed her crew. "Let's do this by the book. We'll approach cautiously and attempt to establish contact. Remember your training. We're here to explore and learn, not to provoke or threaten." As the Odyssey inched closer to the alien structure, its true scale became apparent. It was a sprawling space station, easily 10 times the size of anything humanity had built. Its surface was adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change as they watched. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Rodriguez from his station, "we're receiving a transmission. It's like nothing I've ever seen before." The computer's struggling to decode it. Sarah felt her heart race. "Put it through, Lieutenant. Let's hear what our new neighbors have to say." The bridge speakers crackled to life, emitting a series of complex tones and harmonics that seemed to defy conventional language. Dr. Patel's eyes widened as he furiously tapped at his console, attempting to make sense of the alien communication. Suddenly, the alien structure lit up like a Christmas tree. Beams of energy danced across its surface, coalescing into a brilliant point of light at its center. "Captain," shouted the tactical officer, "they're powering up some kind of weapon system." Sarah's mind raced. Had they done something wrong? Was this a misunderstanding or an act of aggression? She had seconds to decide the fate of her crew and potentially the future of human-alien relations. "Shields up," she commanded. "Prepare evasive maneuvers, but do not, I repeat, do not return fire unless I give the order." The Odyssey's shields hummed to life, just as a lance of energy erupted from the alien station. It struck the ship with tremendous force, sending shockwaves through the hull. Consoles sparked and crew members were thrown from their stations. "Damage report," Sarah called out, steadying herself against her command chair. "Shields at 60%, minor hull breaches on decks 3 and 4. No casualties reported," came the response from engineering. Sarah gritted her teeth. They were outgunned and in unknown territory. But she refused to let humanity's first contact end in bloodshed if she could help it. "Open a channel on all frequencies," she ordered, "and get me the universal translator." As her communications officer worked feverishly, Sarah took a deep breath and spoke. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Odyssey. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship. Our approach was not meant as a threat. Please, let us communicate and understand one another." For a tense moment, there was no response. Then, to everyone's surprise, a flickering hologram appeared on the bridge. It showed a being unlike anything they had ever seen, a creature of swirling energy and geometric patterns. When it spoke, the universal translator struggled but managed to convey its message. "Humans, you have violated sovereign Zarkonian space. Your primitive vessel and crude attempts at communication were perceived as a threat. Explain yourselves or be destroyed." Sarah stood tall, facing the alien hologram. "We are explorers from a planet called Earth. We didn't know this was your territory. We're venturing into the unknown, seeking to learn about the universe and its inhabitants. We apologize for any misunderstanding and ask for the chance to establish peaceful relations." The Zarkonian being seemed to ripple with contemplation. "Your words are unexpected. Our databanks suggested your species was violent and unpredictable. Yet you speak of peace even after our attack. Curious. Seizing the opportunity, Sarah pressed on. We had a long history of both conflict and cooperation, but we've learned that understanding and diplomacy are far more valuable than aggression. Please, give us a chance to show you who we really are. There was a long pause, during which Sarah could feel the weight of every breath, every heartbeat on the bridge. Finally, the Zarkonian spoke again. Very well, humans. We will suspend hostilities and allow you to dock with our station. But be warned, any sign of treachery will be met with immediate annihilation. As the hologram faded, a collective sigh of relief swept through the bridge. Sarah turned to her crew, her expression a mixture of determination and wonder. Well done, everyone. Now the real work begins. Dr. Patel, assemble a first contact team. Lieutenant Rodriguez, begin compiling a cultural package to share with the Zarkonians. The rest of you, get this ship ready for docking. Let's show our new alien friends the best of what humanity has to offer. As the Odyssey slowly maneuvered towards the massive alien station, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. They had faced destruction and responded with words of peace. They had taken the first steps towards interstellar diplomacy. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that the human spirit of exploration, adaptability, and hope would see them through. The adventure was just beginning, and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter at the prospect of what was to come. The Battle of Proxima Centauri. 5 years had passed since humanity's first encounter with the Zarkonians. What began as a tense standoff had evolved into a cautious diplomatic relationship. Humanity had gained access to some of the Zarkonians' advanced technology, accelerating their own progress in space exploration and colonization. However, beneath the surface of cordial exchanges, mistrust simmered on both sides. Colonel Maya Ortiz stood at the command center of Proxima Station, Earth's first extrasolar colony orbiting Proxima Centauri. The red dwarf star cast an eerie glow through the reinforced windows, a constant reminder of how far they were from home. Status report. Maya barked, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the system. Lieutenant Aiden Chen, her second in command, stepped forward. All quiet, Colonel. The terraforming process on the planet is proceeding as scheduled. No unusual activity detected in the system. Maya nodded, but couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had been gnawing at her for weeks. The Zarkonians had been suspiciously quiet lately, and intel suggested they were unhappy with humanity's rapid expansion. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected, shouted the sensor officer. It's the Zarkonians, sir. A full battle fleet. Maya's blood ran cold. This was what she had feared. Battle stations. Alert Earth immediately. And get me a direct line to the Zarkonian flagship. As the crew scrambled to their positions, a familiar hologram flickered to life in the command center. The Zarkonian admiral, a being of pulsating energy and sharp angles, spoke with a voice that seemed to echo from multiple dimensions. Humans of Proxima Station, your unauthorized expansion ends here. Surrender your colony and withdraw from this system immediately, or face obliteration. Maya stood tall, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her. Admiral, we have a treaty. This colony is legal under interstellar law. Stand down your forces, and let's discuss this diplomatically. The Zarkonian's form rippled with what Maya had learned to recognize as laughter. Diplomacy is a luxury of the strong, Colonel. You are neither. You have 1 hour to evacuate before we open fire. As the hologram vanished, Maya turned to her crew. Options, people. I need them now. Aiden spoke up, his voice grim. Our defenses are no match for their fleet, Colonel. Even with Earth's reinforcements, they'd never arrive in time. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the station's chief scientist, cleared her throat. Colonel, I might have an idea. It's risky, but it might be our only chance. Maya nodded for her to continue. Yuki pulled up a schematic of Proxima Centauri. The star is a red dwarf, prone to massive solar flares. If we could trigger one and direct it towards the Zarkonian fleet, we'd fry them, Maya finished. But how do we survive it ourselves? Yuki smiled. That's where our terraforming technology comes in. We've been using it to create a habitable atmosphere on the planet. If we reconfigure it, we might be able to create a temporary shield against the flare. Maya weighed the options. It was a long shot, but they were out of alternatives. Do it. Aiden, coordinate with Yuki's team. I'll keep the Zarkonians talking. Buy us some time. For the next hour, Proxima Station was a flurry of activity. Scientists and engineers worked feverishly to modify the terraforming equipment, while Maya engaged in a verbal dance with the Zarkonian admiral, stalling for time with every diplomatic trick she knew. As the deadline approached, Yuki's voice crackled over the comms. Colonel, we're ready, but I have to warn you, this is completely untested. We could all be killed. Maya took a deep breath. Understood. It's a risk we have to take. On my mark. 3, 2, 1. Now. A massive burst of energy erupted from the station, striking Proxima Centauri with pinpoint accuracy. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the star seemed to convulse, a massive solar flare erupting from its surface. Brace for impact. Maya shouted as the wall of plasma hurtled towards them. The makeshift shield flickered to life around Proxima Station and the planet below. The flare struck with the force of 1,000 suns, bathing everything in blinding light. For several agonizing minutes, the station shuddered and groaned under the onslaught. When the light finally faded, Maya blinked spots from her eyes. Status report. Aiden, his face streaked with sweat, checked his console. Shield held, Colonel. We're damaged, but alive. The planet's atmosphere actually absorbed some of the radiation, accelerating the terraforming process by years. And the Zarkonians. The sensor officer's voice was filled with awe. Their fleet. It's gone, sir. Completely vaporized. A cheer went up from the crew, but Maya silenced them with a raised hand. This isn't over. Send a message to Earth. Tell them Proxima Centauri stands, but we just changed the game. For better or worse, the galaxy now knows what humanity is capable of when pushed into a corner. As the message was sent, Maya stared out at the still turbulent star. They had won the battle, but she knew the war was just beginning. Humanity had proven its ingenuity and determination, but at what cost? The Zarkonians would not take this defeat lightly, and other alien races would surely take notice. One thing was certain: the future of human-alien relations had just been irrevocably altered, and Proxima Centauri would forever be remembered as the place where humanity showed the galaxy it was a force to be reckoned with. The unlikely alliance. The aftermath of the Battle of Proxima Centauri sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Humanity's unexpected victory had earned them respect, fear, and no small amount of resentment from other spacefaring races. The Zarkonians, once dismissive of humans as primitive upstarts, now viewed them as a serious threat. 2 years after the battle, an emergency summit was called on neutral ground, a space station orbiting a gas giant in unclaimed territory. Representatives from both species arrived, tensions high and weapons at the ready. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Earth's lead diplomat, stood at the airlock, flanked by security officers. Across from her, a shimmering form materialized. Zarka, the newly appointed Zarkonian emissary. "Welcome, Emissary Zarka," Elena said, bowing slightly. "We appreciate your willingness to meet." The Zarkonian's form rippled, a gesture Elena had learned to interpret as acknowledgement. "Let us dispense with pleasantries, human. We are here out of necessity, not desire." As they made their way to the conference room, Elena couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come, and how close they still were to all-out war. The meeting began with thinly veiled accusations and barely contained hostility. Humans blamed the Zarkonians for their unprovoked attack on Proxima Centauri, while the Zarkonians decried humanity's reckless expansion and dangerous unpredictability. Just as it seemed the talks would break down entirely, the station's alarms blared to life. Unidentified vessels approaching at high speed. The station's AI announced, "Energy signatures do not match any known species." Both human and Zarkonian delegations rushed to the observation deck. What they saw chilled them to the core. A fleet of biomechanical ships, writhing and pulsating like living organisms, bore down on the station. Their designs were wholly alien, defying conventional understanding of spacecraft architecture. By the cosmic flame, Zarka whispered, their usual composure shattered. "It's the Void Plague. They found us." Elena turned to the Zarkonian, confusion and fear evident in her eyes. "The Void Plague? What are you talking about?" Zarka's form shimmered with what Elena now recognized as dread, a scourge that nearly wiped out our civilization eons ago. We thought we had contained them in a distant galaxy, but it seems they have evolved, adapted, and followed us. As if on cue, the lead Void Plague ship broadcast a message, a cacophony of screeches and clicks that the universal translators struggle to decipher. Flesh, metal, all will be consumed. Resistance is growth. The implication was clear. These weren't simple invaders. They were devourers, assimilators that saw all other life as resources to be absorbed. Elena made a split-second decision. Emissary Zarka, whatever grievances lie between our people, they pale in comparison to this threat. Will you fight alongside us? For a moment, Zarka was silent, their form undulating with internal conflict. Then, to Elena's relief, they extended a tendril of energy towards her. "For the survival of both our species, we will stand with you, human." What followed was a frantic scramble to mount a defense. Human tactical experts worked alongside Zarkonian energy manipulators, jury-rigging the station's systems into makeshift weapons. Elena found herself coordinating with Zarka, their complementary thought processes yielding innovative strategies. As the Void Plague ships entered weapons range, the unlikely alliance put their plan into action. Zarkonian energy beams, guided by human targeting algorithms, lanced out at the enemy. Human-designed nanites, infused with Zarkonian quantum signatures, were launched to infiltrate and disrupt the biomechanical vessels. The battle was fierce and chaotic. The station shuddered under the Void Plague's assault, but the combined human-Zarkonian defense held. Hours passed in a blur of tactical maneuvers, emergency repairs, and moments of heart-stopping peril. Finally, as the last Void Plague ship collapsed in on itself, a cheer went up from both humans and Zarkonians. Elena found herself standing next to Zarka, both of them battered but alive. "It seems," Zarka said, their voice carrying a new note of respect, "that we underestimated your species, Dr. Rodriguez. Your adaptability, it is most impressive." Elena smiled wearily. "And we underestimated the depths of your knowledge and the power of your technology. Together, we're far stronger than we ever could be apart." As the adrenaline of battle faded, the implications of what had just occurred began to sink in. This wasn't just a temporary alliance of convenience. In working together to defeat the Void Plague, humans and Zarkonians had laid the groundwork for a true partnership. "We must prepare," Zarka said, their form pulsing with renewed energy. "The Void Plague will return, stronger and more numerous. Our peoples must unite if we hope to survive." Elena nodded, her mind already racing with the possibilities and challenges ahead. "Agreed. And not just our peoples. We need to warn the rest of the galaxy. Form a united front against this threat." As they began to plan, Elena couldn't help but feel a spark of hope. The road ahead would be difficult, fraught with danger and diplomatic hurdles, but they had proven that even the bitterest of enemies could become allies in the face of a greater threat. The battle against the Void Plague was just beginning, but humanity had found its place in the galactic community. No longer were they upstart newcomers or potential conquerors. They were partners, innovators, and defenders of life itself. As the battered station limped towards the nearest safe port, carrying news of both a terrifying new enemy and an unprecedented alliance, the stars themselves seemed to shine with the promise of a new era for all sentient beings. The Galactic Council. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council hummed with tension. Representatives from 100 different species filled the chamber, their forms as varied as the stars themselves. At the center of it all stood Ambassador Jamal Mbeki, the first human to address this august body. Jamal took a deep breath, acutely aware of the weight of history on his shoulders. Beside him, Zarka's energy form pulsed reassuringly. Their presence was a testament to the unprecedented alliance forged in the heat of battle against the Void Plague. The Council Elder, a being of pure light named Luminara, called the session to order. We are gathered here to consider the petition of the species known as humans for full membership in the Galactic Council. Her melodious voice resonated through the chamber. Ambassador Mbeki, you may present your case. Jamal stepped forward, his dark eyes scanning the assembled aliens. Some regarded him with curiosity, others with barely concealed disdain. He began to speak, his voice clear and strong. Esteemed members of the Council, I stand before you not just as a representative of Earth, but as a voice for all emerging civilizations in our galaxy. Humanity's journey to the stars has been brief by your standards, but it has been marked by rapid growth, adaptability, and a willingness to learn. He gestured to Zarka. Our recent alliance with the Zarkonians, born out of necessity in the face of the Void Plague threat, demonstrates our ability to overcome past conflicts and work towards a greater good. A murmur rippled through the audience. Jamal pressed on. We bring to this council not just our technology or our resources, but our unique perspective. As newcomers to the galactic stage, we see with fresh eyes. We question assumptions. We innovate where others might accept the status quo. The Vrexian representative, an insectoid being, chittered loudly. Fresh eyes. Ah, your species nearly triggered an interstellar war with your reckless expansion. How can we trust such an unpredictable race? Jamal nodded, acknowledging the criticism. It's true, we have made mistakes. But we have also learned from them. Our reckless expansion, as you call it, was born out of a deep-seated desire to explore, to understand, to connect. Is that not the very spirit that led to the formation of this council? He turned, addressing the entire chamber now. The Void Plague threatens us all. It does not discriminate between ancient civilizations and emerging ones. To face this threat, we need every perspective, every resource, every spark of innovation we can muster. Humanity stands ready to contribute our full measure to this fight. The Aetherian delegate, a being of swirling gases, spoke up. Pretty words, Ambassador. But actions speak louder. What concrete contributions can humanity offer to this council? Jamal smiled. This was the opening he had been waiting for. I'm glad you asked. First, we offer our quantum entanglement communication technology, which we developed in collaboration with the Zarkonians. It allows for instantaneous, uninterceptable communication across vast distances, crucial for coordinating our defenses against the Void Plague. He tapped a device on his wrist, and a holographic display sprang to life in the center of the chamber. Secondly, we present our adaptive shielding technology. By analyzing the Void Plague's attacks in real time, these shields can reconfigure themselves to provide optimal protection. The display shifted, showing simulations of the shield in action. Several council members leaned forward, their interest piqued. Lastly, Jamal continued, we offer something less tangible but equally valuable, our diversity. Earth is home to billions of individuals, each with their own unique perspective. This diversity has been the source of our greatest strengths, our creativity, our resilience, our ability to think outside the box. We believe this diversity of thought will be crucial in outmaneuvering the Void Plague. As Jamal concluded his presentation, a thoughtful silence fell over the chamber. The council elder, Luminara, spoke again. You have given us much to consider, Ambassador Maki. The Council will deliberate on your petition. Please await our decision. The next few hours were tense. Jamal and Zarika waited in an antechamber, discussing strategies and backup plans. Finally, they were summoned back to the Great Hall. Luminara's form seemed to shine even brighter as she addressed the assembly. After much discussion, the Council has reached a decision. While concerns remain about humanity's youth and past actions, we cannot ignore the potential benefits of their inclusion. Therefore, we have decided to grant humanity provisional membership in the Galactic Council. A mix of cheers and murmurs filled the chamber. Luminara raised a glowing appendage for silence. This provisional status will be reviewed in 5 standard years. During this time, humanity will have the opportunity to prove its worth and address the concerns raised by various members. Jamal bowed deeply. On behalf of humanity, I thank the Council for this opportunity. We will not let you down. As the session adjourned, Jamal felt a complex mix of emotions. Pride at what they had achieved, anxiety about the challenges ahead, and a deep sense of responsibility. Humanity had gained a seat at the table, but the real work was just beginning. Zarka approached, their energy form rippling with what Jamal had learned to interpret as excitement. Congratulations, my friend. This is a historic moment for both our peoples. Jamal nodded, his expression serious. Indeed it is, but we cannot rest on our laurels. The Void Plague is still out there, growing stronger. We need to start working on a galaxy-wide defense strategy immediately. As they left the council chambers, plans already forming, Jamal couldn't help but feel a sense of optimism. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe. They had allies, they had purpose, and they had hope. The stars beckoned, full of both promise and peril. But together, united with their new galactic neighbors, humanity was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. A new era dawns. A decade had passed since humanity gained its provisional seat on the Galactic Council. The Sol system, once the edge of human influence, now served as a central hub in an intricate network of allied worlds. Earth's cities gleamed with a mix of terrestrial and alien architecture, a testament to the cultural exchange that had flourished in the wake of galactic integration. Admiral Zara Okafor stood on the bridge of the UES Harmony, the flagship of humanity's contribution to the joint galactic fleet. Around her, a crew composed of humans, Zarkonians, and a dozen other species worked in seamless coordination. Status report, Zara commanded, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of a wormhole stabilizing before them. Her XO, a Zarkonian named Vorax, responded promptly. Wormhole integrity at 98% and holding, Admiral. The Void Plague incursion on the other side has been contained by the Aetherian Defense Force, but they're requesting immediate reinforcement. Zara nodded, her expression grim. Very well. All hands, prepare for transit. Let's remind these cosmic parasites why they should fear the united front of the Galactic Alliance. As the Harmony led its fleet through the wormhole, Zara couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. The Void Plague, once an existential threat, had been pushed back time and again by the combined might and ingenuity of the allied species. Humanity's adaptability and the Zarkonians' ancient wisdom had proved to be a formidable combination, inspiring other races to contribute their unique strengths to the cause. The battle on the other side of the wormhole was fierce but brief. The Harmony's quantum-entangled targeting systems, guided by Vorax's energy manipulation, made short work of the Void Plague's bioships. As the last enemy vessel imploded, a cheer went up from the crew. Back on Earth, in the towering spires of New Geneva, the headquarters of the Human Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador Elena Rodriguez, formerly Dr. Rodriguez, was engaged in a different kind of battle. The holographic projections of various council members flickered around her as she made her case. The success of the Joint Research Initiative cannot be overstated, Elena argued passionately. By combining Trill bioengineering, Volcrin quantum mechanics, and human theoretical physics, We're on the verge of a breakthrough that could render void plague assimilation impossible. The Vrexian representative, once one of humanity's harshest critics, chittered in agreement. The humans have proven their worth time and again. I move that we upgrade their council status from provisional to full membership. As the vote was tallied, Alina held her breath. The outcome would determine humanity's place in the galactic order for generations to come. When the final tally appeared, she couldn't suppress a smile. The motion had passed overwhelmingly. Thousands of light years away, on a terraformed world in the Proxima Centauri system, Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood before a class of eager young students, human, Zarkonian, and several other species. The lecture hall of the newly established Galactic Science Academy hummed with excited chatter. Today, Yuki began, her eyes twinkling, we'll be discussing the theoretical foundations of interdimensional travel. But before we dive into the equations, I want you all to remember something crucial. Every breakthrough we make here isn't just advancing science. It's strengthening the bonds between our peoples and giving us new tools to safeguard all sentient life against threats like the void plague. As Yuki's lecture proceeded, filled with lively debate and cross-species collaboration, it was clear that this was more than just a class. It was a microcosm of the new galactic society that was forming, one where differences were celebrated and diverse perspectives led to innovations unimaginable to any single species alone. In the depths of space, at the very edge of charted territory, a joint human-Zarkonian exploration vessel made a monumental discovery. Captain Maya Ortiz, the hero of Proxima Centauri, now commanding the UES Curiosity, could hardly believe the sensor readings. "Are you seeing this, Zarka?" she asked her Zarkonian science officer. Zarka's energy form pulsed with excitement. "Indeed, Captain. If these readings are correct, we've just discovered the remnants of a Dyson sphere. The technological implications are staggering." Maya nodded, her mind racing with the possibilities. "Send word to the Council immediately. This could change everything. Our understanding of physics, our energy capabilities, maybe even give us a new weapon against the void plague." As the Curiosity began its preliminary survey of the ancient megastructure, Maya reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From first contact to bitter enemies, from reluctant allies to true partners in exploration and discovery, humanity had found its place among the stars, not by conquering or dominating, but by contributing, adapting, and uniting others toward common goals. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, but it was also fraught with dangers. The void plague was still a threat, and who knew what other challenges lurked in the cosmic depths. But Maya felt a sense of optimism as she gazed at the star-speckled viewport. Whatever the future held, humanity would face it not alone, but as part of a greater galactic community. As the Curiosity's findings were transmitted across the quantum entanglement network, causing excitement and speculation from Earth to the farthest reaches of Council space, one thing became clear: a new era had truly dawned. An era of unity, discovery, and limitless possibility. And humanity, the newcomers who had shaken the galactic order, were at the heart of it all. The stars had once seemed cold and distant. Now they beckoned, full of promise, adventure, and hope. The greatest chapter in human history, and perhaps galactic history, was just beginning.